friends, Jewel back with another super cool astrology video. And today I wanted to talk about Virgo woman and what some of the characteristics and traits are when we see women with their sun in the sign of Virgo. So, the sun is our ego, our identity, our chosen expression. It's what we really want to be appreciated and seen for being, as opposed to Mars, which is what we want to be appreciated and seen for doing. It's our action-oriented ego. The sun is more our, just what we want to be and show up as. And has a lot to do with our self-esteem. And the father, authority, such things as that. And when we have the energy of Virgo, this is where the identity really is coming through the lens of helpfulness, humility, service, timidity, routine, pickiness a lot of times, health. And so we see somebody who's very prone to identifying with being useful and of service when they have their sun shining through the lens of Virgo. The ego is formed very much around how their sacrificial or helpful nature benefits others. So their self-esteem is often very reliant on how they feel they are or are not living up to their standards. Also is a facet of this personality, because this is a very perfectionistic sign. So they are perfectionists in their larger nature and have a lot of ideas about what they should be and what other people should or should not be. So they tend to be very hard on themselves, women with their sun in Virgo, self-critical. And very, very often, women with the sun sign feel that they do not fit in anywhere. They're very much an inner nerd that never really unsticks from the wall. Now, you can have your sun in aspect to Uranus or to Mars, or in the midheaven, and it can very much modify and mitigate the style. But typically we see somebody who is more reticent to show who they are, because there's a lot of unsurety about the ego in this sign. So women with the sun sign can often come off as snobby, but really it's that they're shy, they're reticent, they're timid, and they are easily embarrassed with the sun in Virgo. They tend to judge others harshly because their own standard for themselves is so high. This is the 6th, 12th axis that we're really talking about. This is the service axis. And, Virgo is the natural energy of that 6th house of service. And she tends to give of herself a lot and look for ways to fill in or give or be of service. And we can see somebody who crosses other people's boundaries a great deal of the time. And she can meddle because it's an attempt to fix or help. And the ego very much wants to establish itself as that fixer or helper, and she is looking for ways to do that. So sometimes it's important to back off and pay more attention to what is going on the inside, because this is a more outward focused sun sign. So boundaries are something that need to be established, where like the sun sign in Pisces is more, they're in danger of having their boundaries traversed. The sun in Virgo is more in danger of traversing others' boundaries in an attempt to form or deal with the ego or the identity. So learning to say no is important, because they do tend to take on too much, and they do tend to put themselves in kind of a prostrate position a lot, where they're feeling like, oh, woe is me, I have so much on my plate, but yet they've signed up for 12 PTA meetings in 1 week. So it's very much about, all sun signs, or any planet that's dealing with the ego or the identity, really needs to be, brought into conscious focus, so we're not kind of, being marionetted around by that energy. So, there is a big myth that women with their sun in Virgo are, prudes or non-sexual, and that's really not the case at all. She really needs to be the one who chooses and times when the sex is going to happen. If she is not in the mood, and often she's not in the mood, then she will usually say yes anyway, but be uncomfortable with it. Or some women go the other way, and they are very much just not gonna go there. Things have to be right. And she needs to know that you will not criticize or embarrass her for her sexual expression. It's really important that she know that she can let loose, and that is going to be okay, that there's no judgment whatsoever going on there. And often women who have their sun in Virgo, when they have young ones, they are very, very preoccupied with what's going on with those young ones. They tend to give everything. And people with their sun in Virgo tend to be givers in the first place. But when it comes to their children, women with their sun in Virgo really do everything. And it is an exhausting time for them. They tend to very much identify with being that nurturing parent, and can often lose themselves in their children, especially when they're very young. So there's, really frequently a dry period in the romance or the sex life when women with their sun in Virgo are dealing with very young children. So it's something that, comes back, and as she learns to identify with something else, or as the ego matures, there tends to be more of rekindling of the connection between her and her more sexual self. So it is more of a demure sign. It is more of a shy sign. It's one of the more passive signs when it comes to where someone has their sun. But it's a really fascinating place to have the sun, because that energy of Virgo in the 6th house really describes more of an action-oriented way of the things of that house. So, building an identity with your sun on the side of Virgo is more about doing than being. So it's kind of a more odd place to have the sun because typically the sun for all the other signs wants to be seen and applauded for being and existing, where the sun in Virgo is really wanting their efforts to be the source of that recognition. So it's an interesting place to have the sun. So I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please like my video and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back super soon with more super cool videos. You can find me on the internet at truthandaspectastrology.com. Yes, I do private consultation. You can find me on Facebook at Truth and Aspect Astrology, where you should be following me because I do the daily astrology weather forecasting, birthday descriptions, all kinds of writings and articles over there. So catch me over there, and I'll be back super soon with more super cool videos. Bye-bye.